I had hung around him and John Coltrane at one point at a hotel in Buffalo, New York.
Okay.
And it was Elvin Jones' birthday.
Wow.
And I brought my new record I had just recorded called The New Boss Guitar. Actually, it wasn't called The New, it was called Boss Guitar. No, it was called New Boss Guitar. Because forget about Boss Guitar. Montgomery covered that many years ago. So I said, man, I just got my test pressing, man. He said, go get it, bring it down. We brought it down, we put it on there. It was an actual record, vinyl. So we put it on. Now, when I think about it, it's embarrassing, man, but it's all I had. I was still 20 years old.
Yeah.
And John Coltrane said, yeah. Montgomery said, yeah, man, I like it, man. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Then he said, I just got my new test pressing in too. He said, would you like to hear it? I said, yeah. He went up and got it and he played around midnight. I said, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know whether to go upstairs and kill myself or start practicing for the next 10 years. It was so magnificent, man. He inspired so many people just by touching the guitar. And although he didn't overdo lines, he didn't feature chops and all that stuff, and technique and all that. His approach to harmony and theory was so relaxing and so inspiring and so, what do you call that word? What's the word I'm looking for? Emotional.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had to sit back and listen to his approach and say, what is it that makes him so wonderful? So when he passed away, a few years later, 1968, they had asked me if I would, because he was scheduled to play in my hometown, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, at a great big place that hold 20,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
I said, man, no way I could do that. He said, why not? I said, because there's only one Wes Montgomery.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to pretend that I can sit in and cover for Wes Montgomery. Even if he asked me to do it himself, I would not do it. So I did not do it.
I understand.
I'm glad I didn't. It would be hanging around my neck for all my life.
I tell you, he played with his brothers, and they were just, I was a kid, so it didn't mean anything. But now, phenomenal. Really, he was just...
It's one of the best groups I've ever heard in my life. I have not, since seeing them way back in 1960 or 61, I have not seen anything better than that. Or that sounded better to me than that group. Of those cats who were playing by ear, basically. And at that time, Buddy was playing vibes.
He sure was.
Tore the place up, man. I said, man, is this what jazz music is? I'm never going to be able to play that, I guess, But you never know. The inspiration came when Montgomery started mentioning me to, after he became a superstar, he started mentioning me to his, the record company owner, Herb Alpert. Oh, here's what they'll tell you about your dad in France. During the, remember, this is only a few years after the World War had ended.
Yeah.
Well, France took quite a hit from the Germans.
Mm-hmm.
So this festival was only like 10 to 12 years after that. So there's still a lot of feelings there.
Mm-hmm.
So I had these artists who used to draw figures and make statements on the sidewalk of France, which went for like a mile.
Okay.
So they had a thing that said, Charlie Christian is the greatest guitar player of all time. Policeman came by and said, erase, I want that erased immediately. He said it in French. I said, what they talking about? He said, he's forcing him to erase it. I said, why? He said, he said, unless you put Wes Montgomery up there. They forced him to put Wes Montgomery on the sidewalk.
That is.
You remember the three greatest guitar players at that time were considered were Django Reinhardt, Charlie Christian,
Yeah.
and Wes Montgomery.
And the police made him change it.
Policemen made him change it. Yeah, and it was serious. They're gonna put him in jail. It ain't that serious, man.
That's right. It's only a
The guy told me, he said, yes, it is, George. He said, this is true. Wes Montgomery is the greatest guitar player in the world, man. I said, well, teach me something, man. Oh, so anyway, we did that year. 50 years later, by that time, I had become a superstar in Europe. I had 26 smash records, sold 60 or 70 million albums, and 10 Grammy Awards. So they saw that video of me with Jack McDuff in 1964 on the French Riviera. And the guy said, man, the guitar player's not bad. He said, he looks familiar. Who is that? Because I only weighed, I was 50 pounds lighter.
right.
The guy said, he looks familiar. The guy said, he looks a little bit like George Benson. We know it can't be George Benson. And the guy said, well, let's look on the tape and see who it is. And they said, it is George Benson, man. That's George Benson. So the next year was George Benson Day. I headlined the festival 50 years later on the French Riviera.